And now,
it's 10 a.m.
Let's just get down to it.
And it's time for your sports fix.
Strap yourselves in, folks.
From two guys who have covered the teams you're passionate about for years.
We are professionals.
This is Jake Scott and Ben Anderson on 97.5 The KSL Sports Zone.
Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Jake Scott, Ben Anderson, thank you for making us a part of your Tuesday. How's it going over there, Ben?
Doing well. How are you?
I don't know. I had one of those Ralph Scream moments a little bit, like a minute ago.
Okay.
Just one of those. We have we walk around the corner after we get off the elevator, and usually you walk around the corner to I don't know. Nothing most of the time.
It's a big bullpen. It's a big square area of cubicles.
Usually there's maybe one person or, Hatch will go do his post-production stuff out there after his show, that type of thing. But walked around the corner, bam, Salazar right there.
Yeah.
Right there. Then Nate, Maddie, it was
Scotty G.
It was everybody whose opinion matters right there. And
not Lloyd, but yeah.
Well, that was disrespectful.
Kidding.
So anyway, it was just I didn't expect it.
Yeah, I'm with you. Griffin. Don't forget Griffin.
Absolutely. I thought, oh my gosh, what's going on?
Yeah.
And then, because Scotty's here, we started talking about old times. And what's funny about this, and I'm sure this is true in a lot of different lines of work out there, but everything in radio is the same until the day it's not. Everything changes on a dime.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't, most of the time you don't see it coming. Sometimes you do. And all of a sudden what happened one way for a long time.
What was is no longer.
Yeah. And what's next is who knows.
Yeah.
And so anyway, sometimes those moments were I used to have a boss's boss, right? Who usually didn't come around all that often, didn't, poke their head into the studio. So anytime you saw them, it was like Ralph Scream. What's happening?
Yeah. But we're always happy to see Maddie and Nate. That's never been a harbinger of bad news.
They're amazing, and actually, telling stories and stuff. The station is in such a good place. As somebody who's been with this station for a long, long time, we're in such a great place. And not that previous stops weren't great as well, but excited about where we find ourselves, Ben. That's for sure.
Yep, no question about it.
Right down to this beautiful studio where you can see us now on the YouTube.
And Christian when he tunes in.
Here, put on your microphone, Christian. Don't say anything. Just turn it on. Okay, there you go. There he is. That's Christian.
I have my
right
camera
there.
turned off.
Where?
What? Why?
Why?
None of the other producers do it anymore.
Why not?
I don't know. They're lazy, and I didn't want to be the only one.
Turn it on.
Turn it on. It's good for your career. Turn it on.
Wait, and where in I
I'm
should
not kidding. It's good for your career. Turn it on.
I have I guess the ability to check myself, but because we have a monitor thing, I guess. But where on the screen is Christian when he has his camera on?
He just takes over, right? Don't you go full screen, or do you jump in the middle?
No,
we go three. We go three shots.
Is it below us or?
I'm in the middle now.
In the middle?
3 pillars.
So if I point like this, then I'm pointing at Christian?
Are we pointing the wrong direction?
Yeah, you got it.
All right.
I got it. So I'm pointing at Christian. I'm pointing at Christian right now.
There we go. Yeah.
Should we require Christian to be absolutely silent but leave his microphone on for the entire show?
Too many people come in there yapping.
Well, he could pot it down but leave
that's true.
But leave it on.
That's true.
Just so
we can see him
just
in action.
So everyone can monitor Christian.
It's not a bad idea.
Just so everyone can look over and see an empty chair when we need it like that.
Like that?
See him scramble every time.
Kidding, of course. You don't need to leave your camera on.
It's off, yeah.
There, Christian. Okay. So now I would be pointing at Ben. Okay. That makes more sense now. Okay. So anyway, shout out to they brought bagels. Long story short is, sometimes working around the holidays, especially when there's breaking news and all that stuff, is you work hours and do things that are extra, and so a little bagel reward is nice for the staff after it's all said and done.
I hope you weren't trying to watch the stream live from our website, because right now the stream is Tempview Orem High School Boys Basketball.
Oh, well, all right.
That was a waste. Unless you're just watching straight through YouTube.
Yeah, right. I mean, that's not the only place to get
it,
Ben, for crying out loud. All right. The Jazz win. They beat Donovan Mitchell and the Cleveland Cavaliers, who, I don't know, I feel like we could spend a whole show talking about what a mess they are if anybody actually wanted to listen to it. But
that's what I wrote about last night. That was what my story was.
Yeah, they're a mess.
Yeah, and you don't want to take one game. I mean, by that account, if we were to say one game, they're a mess, you could say, oh, Detroit's not any good, or San Antonio's not any good. The Celtics aren't any good, teams who the Jazz have beaten this year. But the Cavaliers actually look bad. The Cavaliers actually look, they have lost pieces from where they were last year when they won 63 games and were very good. And the pieces they lost were instrumental to their success, and they don't really have a route of getting those players back.
So, a familiar flaw was kind of there. And hey, shout out to Locke, who did a bunch of Grateful Dead references in his broadcast yesterday. But he talks to Scott Morrison usually before games and gets, he pulls bites about game plans and stuff and plays it throughout his broadcast. It's really good. But Coach Morrison talked about their offensive game plan basically being, we're going to get Donovan Mitchell. He actually called by name Sam Merrill and Donovan.
Yeah.
Did he say Donovan Mitchell? I'm trying to remember. He said two people. I can't remember if it was I think it was Garland and Sam Merrill, but he mentioned them both by name. He kind of he was like, not that they're bad defenders, but. And then he said they're going to take advantage of those matchups.
And the Jazz did a very good job of that.
Every time. Lauri would get
Sam
Merrill. Did I say Sam Mitchell?
No, you said Sam Merrill.
Oh, okay. Sam Merrill would get Sam Merrill on him and just bully him straight under the basket.
Ace Bailey did which Ace Bailey is not in bullying position at this point in his career.
Locke played that bite like 4 times because it's exactly what happened throughout the entire game. Keyonte would get one of those, and bam, he makes a play. Lauri would get it, bam, makes a play. I mean, it's what we talked about it last week, where the elbow or catching it at the nail thing didn't really work for him, and right now he's just running over dudes and going to the basket.
Yeah,
and it was on full display.
Yep.
But the thing is, Cleveland had no answer at all, like nothing they possibly could do, because they have the tiniest little backcourt you've ever seen in your life. I mean,
which is familiar.
That's what I'm saying. Familiar. Yeah. It was very familiar watching it because, Sam Merrill aside, who's your 3-point specialist, who's not really a starter but was a starter last night. If you start 2 tiny guys, the other team has a mismatch every time. Yeah. If you're a good coach, you can scheme 1 tiny guy in today's day and age, but 2. You're dead in the water. Then you throw a 3-point specialist that can't stay in front of everyone, and no offense to Sam, can't stay in front of most really athletic players, or are going to get run over by the bigger ones like Lauri Markkanen. They're in real trouble. And I love Jared Allen, and he's a great rim protector just like Rudy Gobert was. But there are some things that's not going to fix. The Jazz had more points in the paint than the Cavs did last night.
Jared Allen had 8 points and 4 rebounds last night. I mean, was totally washed out of the game by Yusuf Nurkic, which credit Yusuf Nurkic. He is just huge. He's an absolute beast of a human being. And I don't mean bad. I mean, he's an enormous human.
No, in the way we should find this clip where maybe did we take it number 1, the best cameo in movie history? Kareem Abdul-Jabbar in Airplane.
It was certainly on the list.
Where the kid's like, my dad says you don't hustle or play defense or something like that. And he's like, listen, kid, you tell your dad he should try and drag Walton and Rainier up and down the floor for 48 minutes a game or whatever he said. Because it's true. Like giant, huge humans that you're basically leaning on or having lent on you for the entire game is just brutal. There's a reason Anthony Davis doesn't want to play center.
Yeah.
Like Yusuf Nurkic is that reason. Because maybe you get the advantage of it. Maybe you're a better player than him, but he's 900 pounds and he's going to lean on you the whole game and he's going to scrap after every rebound because that's the reason he's in the league still.
He's got to feel unmovable, and everybody's played pickup basketball or church league and played against that one guy who you're like, why are his feet cemented to the ground? I just can't move this person. I just bounce off of him. Nurkic does that with NBA players, with basically, probably 99% of the players that are in the league, including last night Evan Mobley and Jared Allen, who were just pretty benign. I mean, again, Jared Allen had 4 rebounds. Evan Mobley had 9 rebounds and 8 assists. He had a pretty nice stat line. Felt totally unimpactful, and his reigning Defensive Player of the Year award looked like a sham because Lauri Markkanen just went after him every single time in the first half. So what's amazing about Lauri right now is, he did it to Anthony Davis against the Mavericks and the Jazz win before last night. Their previous win before that, before they lost by 55 to the Hornets. He just went right at AD, didn't really care. He just went right at the reigning Defensive Player of the Year, Evan Mobley. He's really taken that next step where it just doesn't matter who's guarding him at all. And then, Nurkic just leans on thinner guys.
On that Lauri point before we move on. Did I tell you Mike Smith's theory about when Draymond got thrown out?
No.
Which I thought was really interesting. Because remember, when Draymond Green got thrown out against the Jazz for Golden State, he was complaining about a 3-second call. Like Phil stood in the lane forever. And he actually gave up a dunk to Lauri because he was complaining about the call, and then he got thrown out. Mike's theory was that Lauri had basically ragdolled him several times. Over and over, and he got thrown out because he
quit.
He didn't want to be embarrassed.
I'd believe it. In all honesty, I'd believe it.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought it was interesting coming from Mike, too, who knows kind of the games that NBA players play sometimes.
Yeah.
And his theory was, he got thrown out on purpose because – and remember the next day you and I were asking, why on earth would you get thrown out over such a stupid thing?
Yeah, unless you meant to.
At a stupid time.
Yeah, first half.
Yeah, like second quarter.
Yeah, that makes sense. No, honestly, that's not a crazy theory.
And that Lauri was beating him up, and he was looking stupid. And he was like, I'm out of here.
So Lauri has upped his physicality, grabbed 12 rebounds last night, again, against a pretty good front court with Cleveland. But no, to your point, and again, this is what I wrote about last night, the truth is, betting on Donovan was the right move for Cleveland. I don't think that was a mistake at all. Donovan is who he was when he was here in Utah. He's actually better. He's upped his averages. He's more efficient. He's become a better player. Now, he still has his flaws. He's not a good defensive player, as was illustrated last night. But Donovan's a better player than he was in Utah, now in Cleveland. Last night, he wasn't fabulous by any means, but he has done every single thing you could have hoped of him. I just think Cleveland was betting on Jared Allen and Darius Garland to be one of them would become a better player than Donovan Mitchell, most likely Evan Mobley, and that hasn't happened. As good as he is, he's probably not even as good as prime Rudy Gobert. And then, if you knew Donovan Mitchell's flaw was playing in the backcourt with a smaller guard and Mike Conley, why did you recreate that in Cleveland? They should have traded Darius Garland 2 years ago for that big wing that covers up all the things Donovan Mitchell doesn't do, and they sat on him. And they held on to Darius Garland too long, and his value is not diminished. I could see him going to like Minnesota or something in a trade this year. I wouldn't be surprised if that happened, but they're not going to get that championship piece back, and their window is closed, which is crazy that they're already at that point where I don't know how they're going to retool and build a finals team, which was the entire goal of trading the kitchen sink to get Donovan in the first place.
I agree with you, but let me see. Let me look this up. Ask me how I know that Darius Garland has a bad agent.
How's that?
Because he re-signed with Cleveland.
Yeah, he did. After demanding a trade.
Why?
He demanded a trade at one point and was like, I don't think this is going to work. And he was right. This is not going to work. Yeah.
He was right. And remember all that stuff last year in the offseason, or was it 2 years ago, where Clutch was trying to paint Donovan Mitchell with the coach killer label and all this and this infighting, and Donovan Mitchell won.
Uh-huh.
And he re-signed there.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
And it's a bad fit.
It is. It's a really bad
It
fit.
wasn't a particularly awesome contract. I mean, he's making $39.4 this year, $42.1 the next, $44.8 the year after that.
It's right at the max, close to the max, but yeah.
Why?
No, I'm with you.
Why?
No.
That doesn't make any sort of sense to me. Where I disagree with you is that Donovan Mitchell has gotten better since leaving Utah. Now, I will grant you that, hey, Donovan's not dumb. As players get older and they learn stuff, they naturally get better.
Yeah.
But I'm not necessarily disagreeing with you, but I think he feeds into his worst self, and that's why Cleveland is not going anywhere. And I think he would tell you he's better, and that's part of the problem. When it was working, remember we talked about this last year. When it was working, it was because Donovan was moving off of the ball. It's because he was not scoring 30 points a game. And now, he's broken Darius Garland, who's just taking the crumbs that he's left. And he played pretty well last night.
Yeah, Darius was good. He's a good player. That's the problem. He is a really good player.
Right. And he's underutilized because there's a ton of overlap with the star player who's not going to move, who's not going to budge on him.
Yeah.
And I would argue that he budged on him at least a little bit in Utah. And I do think that Quinn Snyder drew up a great game plan for Rudy. The only way, really, that they could make Rudy as effective as he was. And I think that Donovan had to do some things which weren't about Donovan that he did for the sake of the team. Mm-hmm. And I've always given him credit for that, and I still do. I think he's done with that.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think he's good enough to get Cleveland to a title by himself. If he emphasized Evan Mobley and Darius Garland and emphasized team and the new ball movement wave that is sweeping the league, I think Cleveland could be pretty good because it's not a bad roster. It's not.
Yeah, they should be. I mean, they're in 7th place right now in the East.
And
they would be in the play-in tournament right now. They're better than that. Their roster is better than that.
Way better than that. In the East, I picked them to win the dang East because they have a roster that is every bit as good as most of the Eastern teams. Mm-hmm. Overlap aside.
Yeah, right.
But that's not how he's. That's not what he's going to do, and so they're not going to win. LaMelo Ball celebrating him last year for scoring 30 whatever points a game. Your team won. What did Charlotte win? 18 games, 19 games.
Yeah, doesn't matter. Whatever they won doesn't matter. Yeah,
you know what I mean.
No, it's a real credit, and here to bring this full circle and back to something that happened last night, which was Donovan Mitchell after the game said he thought that Keyonte George should be an all-star this year. It was very typical Donovan. I think a lot of people listening to it would actually roll their eyes listening to Donovan heap praise on somebody else knowing what the narrative was going to be coming out of the conversation.
Yeah, the other guy that just lit him on fire, you're going to say how good that guy is. Donovan has always been a master at the narrative.
Yeah.
And how do I
paint myself in a good picture by complimenting somebody else? And it can be sincere, but it also can seem insincere at the same time. It's just kind of one of Donovan's blessings and curses. Whatever. What I do think is relevant here is that the Jazz are doing with Keyonte what everybody probably should have done with Donovan Mitchell from the very beginning is tell Donovan, you're a point guard. You're too little to be a shooting guard. You're just too little. I don't know what to tell you. You're too little. And Keyonte George, he was on the Zach Lowe show, the podcast this week, and said, I didn't want to play point guard. I didn't play point guard in high school. I didn't play it in college. And I didn't want to be a point guard in the NBA. And my very first draft meeting with the Jazz, Danny Ainge said, guess what you are? You're a point guard. We're going to put the ball in your hands, and we're going to make you a point guard. And they did it in year one, and it didn't work very well. And they did it in year two, and it didn't work very well. And then last night was a brilliant point guard performance from Keyonte George. Because if I were to go back and pull up his box score, I think if I look at his first half stats, I think Keyonte had 3 field goal attempts. He was 1 of 3 from the floor. He had 7 assists. What did he do? He got everybody else in a rhythm. He got Lauri in a rhythm because Lauri had 16 points. He said, I'm going to get you involved. I'm going to get you going. You're going to be locked in from the opening start. You're going to have Sam Merrill on you, and you're going to cook him, and you're going to set it up. And then in the second half, it's going to be my show, and I'm going to take over the game because that's where I can be great. And in the second half, he had 25 points. He was the best player on the floor by 1,000 miles. I mean, Keyonte was so good last night. He didn't shoot the ball in the first half. He had 3 shot attempts. Yeah. You know, he didn't look for his shot in the slightest and then absolutely dominated the game over the last 24 minutes. And that's game management and point guard play that honestly Donovan just never developed. And that's a Jazz fault. Jazz should have made him a point guard from day one as well. That is something that we should have seen Quinn Snyder lean into. But they had Ricky Rubio when he came in, and Ricky wasn't any good off the ball. And then they thought, well, if we're replacing Ricky Rubio, we need to get another point guard, so they got Mike Conley. And honestly, they probably did Donovan a disservice by not making him a point guard and finding bigger players next to him. And it's bizarre that Cleveland said, let's keep doing that. Now, on the flip side, maybe everyone is smarter than I am behind the scenes, and that's usually the case. And they saw, oh, Donovan can't be a point guard. There's something in him that won't allow him to do that. And you got to really credit Keyonte for figuring it out because Keyonte was absurd last night. He was so good.
He was. And I like that about Keyonte. The maturing Keyonte is maturing in all the right ways. I totally agree with that. And I'm not so sure the maturing Donovan matured in all of the right ways. And there's, maybe that the previous, front office for the Jazz, maybe they saw that. Say, this guy can't be the point guard because you can't trust him with the ball.
Yeah, whatever it is. He's going to dial his own number more often than not, or whatever it is. Yeah, absolutely.
He's going to call his own number every time. Sophomore Tyler Huntley.
Yeah.
Who had to learn that, like, yeah, I know you can get 5 to 50 yards on every play. You got to figure out a way to get the ball to your All-American tailback.
Yeah.
And he did, and he learned, and all that. I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure that's Donovan. I don't think Donovan is going out there and playing to get the best out of Darius Garland. To your argument about Keyonte, he was out to get the best out of Keyonte, out of Lauri. Keyonte George was out to get the best out of Lauri Markkanen last night.
And you know what?
And out of his teammates. And you hear the way the other point guards talk about him, the other point guards who are directly competing with him talk about him. It says a lot.
It's funny to hear Keyonte say, he says this a lot. You'll hear it if you pay attention to post games. You have to listen to all of them, so you hear it. Got to feed the head of the snake. He says that a lot. That's what he calls Lauri, the head of the snake. It's clearly something that Will Hardy has said. Lauri is the head of the snake. We got to feed him. We got to take care of him. We got to get him involved. Because Keyonte just mimics it and says it over and over and over. There is a major difference between that and what was Donovan Mitchell. We make fun of it all the time. So famous for saying after every loss, well, I'm the best player on the team.
So I got to be better.
I got to be better. I'm the best player on the team. And Keyonte, who has an argument to be the Jazz's best player, I still think it's Lauri, but is not fighting to say this is my team, is not fighting to say I'm the guy. He says over and over and over, I got to get Lauri the ball. I got to get him the ball on the spot to be successful. I've got to make sure Lauri gets going. And then he actually backs it up. And I think that's what's been refreshing if you're a Jazz fan about Keyonte George this year. And that's just a minor difference in these players, but again, I tweeted out last night. You can go look. Their third-year stats are basically identical. Keyonte's more efficient. He's a better shooter. Donovan scored a little bit more, rebounded a little bit more, but we're talking about fractions of a point.
Why did they have the green light to win it, though?
I wonder that as well.
And we were theorizing, like, don't they have Cleveland's draft pick? So it actually is kind of in their interest. But isn't that all splitting hairs? It's the number of wins that they have to limit.
It is. I think when you lose by 55, you may need to turn the page as quickly as possible. Yeah. And if that means eating a victory in a season where you're not all that interested in eating wins, you may just have to.
Because they were certainly playing to win. Will was certainly coaching to win.
Now, look, Kevin Love played there. Lauri Markkanen played there. The Jazz want to embarrass Donovan Mitchell? I mean, they do. I don't know what to tell you. I don't think it's an organizational, like, we're mad at Donovan Mitchell, but that's going to be ingrained that Donovan Mitchell left and has heaped all this praise. And
it reflects directly on their decision-making. So,
yeah,
that's only human nature.
Beat him.
I'm not hating on anybody.
Beat
Donovan
him.
wants to beat the Jazz.
Absolutely.
That was the first time Donovan's ever lost to the Jazz.
Right. And I think his first time he came back, he had 40-something. Yeah. That's human nature. The Jazz want to do that. And look, Keyonte should want to cook that dude. Like, that's who Keyonte should be going after, is those guys in the NBA saying, I'm as good as you are, and I think I can beat you.
I got to tell you, though, if they took the leash off, let alone if the Jazz still had Walker Kessler, this is a playoff team. That may sound like
hyperbole,
hyperbole homer take, but
no, look at the Phoenix Suns. Phoenix Suns are a playoff team this year. Yeah, they're not that great.
The Jazz are beating teams like San Antonio and Detroit, and when they get the green light to play against teams, they're beating them. In fact, I think it's the problem when they have these giant letdowns, because they're like, you got to stop that.
Yeah. My takeaway, certainly from last night, and other than the things we mentioned, is that, yeah, as soon as the Jazz flip the switch, they're going to be competitive really quick. That doesn't mean win a title, but they're going to win more games than they lose next season, because they're going to add pieces around what they already have, and they're just going to try every night.
Because Lauri's taking it to another level.
Yeah.
And Keyonte's a guy.
Yep. It's that simple. With just those two guys, you have something.
And then you throw in Walker, where their greatest weakness is they don't have a center. No offense, Nurk. Well, got Nurk, and that's it. I mean, they had Kevin Love and Phil for the Charlotte game.
Yeah, Nurk is the 18th best center in the NBA, 20th best center in the NBA.
If you plug that with a good player, all of a sudden you're talking about winning
44, 45 games.
Right.
Yep.
It's not that far off.
No, it's next year. Jazz are going to win 40 games next year. I really firmly believe that. Barring injury, that's where the Jazz are.
What happens to this pick next year?
Nothing. It's forgiven.
No, that can't be it. They must send 2
Nothing.
seconds,
It's
right?
totally expunged after this year. That's why they're doing it. Nothing going Oklahoma City's way after this year. It's absolutely forgiven, debt-free after this.
Stay tuned. More Jacob Ben coming up next. Top 3 stories of the day. 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
It's time to break down the biggest stories of the day. This is the top 3 stories of the day on KSLSports.com. 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
There are dozens of us, Ben. Dozens. All right. It's time for the top 3 stories of the day at KSLSports.com. It's brought to you by our friends at J. Brooks Jewelers. Cherish your love with J. Brooks Jewelers. Explore their expertly crafted engagement rings made from the finest materials. J. Brooks Jewelers. Just a hint. Valentine's Day is coming up very soon.
Oh, man, it is.
Very soon. And J. Brooks is happy to be there for you.
Yeah.
Take advantage of it. All right. Christian, where do you want to start today?
Number 1, the transfer portal outrage continues. Salesi Moa, the biggest recruit that ever committed to Utah, has flipped, and it sounds like he's going to be going to Michigan.
He was a Tennessee commit, a late flip for Utah. Kind of seemed like Utah may have sacrificed a couple of other commits as they donated or dedicated, I should say, some resources towards Moa. That's pure speculation on my part. And then after Kyle Whittingham leaves, he throws his name in the transfer portal with a do not contact, which generally means I've already picked my next school, which is essentially like saying I've been tampered with, right? Isn't that essentially what that implies? And he's going to Michigan. Look, I think everybody assumed this as soon as Witt took the Michigan job. Our own Steve Bartle had reported that Salesi Moa had reported to Utah, at least was on campus going to school, but is now withdrawn his name.
But don't be mad about it. Be grateful.
Throw that yellow M on your hat, blue hat, go blue, be thrilled about it.
The man did a lot for the program. How dare you, in fact, be mad about it? Saw a lot of anger.
A lot of anger.
On
a lot of
the
mad
snap
people.
talk as I was sitting in the radio command center. A lot of anger, and it should have been a lot of gratitude. I don't understand why there wasn't more, people with Ute in their handle saying, so glad, so thankful today that Michigan came in and took a previous commit or enrollee.
There were some
He's at
people that were
school.
like, we don't even need you. You transferred too many times. We don't need you. You would love to have this kid, it seems like. Look, again, I'm not angry at the kids, certainly, by any means.
You better not be.
Yeah. Well, why would you be mad at a kid, in all honesty? Kids get to go be
Better not be mad
children.
at anybody. Gratitude. You should thank him for spending time on Utah's campus.
But Witt has picked off some very key pieces. And again, we need to let Salesi Moa actually figure out where he's going to go. And assuming he does end up at Michigan, that seems to be where everyone is saying he's going to land. Maybe he changes his mind at the last minute and goes elsewhere.
I hope he does. Be grateful if he
For
landed
Michigan.
in Michigan. Yeah.
It'd be the best news possible.
Right.
Getting J.J. Buchanan, getting John Henry Daly, now getting Utah's top recruit is a big loss. I mean, that's a big kick to the chest for Utah. And Morgan Scalley's got to figure out how to make up some of these absences. And a lot of it's going to be a little bit late. And you got to go back to the transfer portal. And look, Utah's just not going to win the transfer portal over BYU. Mm-hmm. When you look at all the talent coming into BYU, they just got one of the highest rated transfer linebackers. They added a bunch of offensive linemen yesterday. They added a receiver from Oregon. Utah I don't think has the money to compete. Clearly, if they did, they would be getting some of these bigger names or holding on to more of these players. And Utah's going to have to figure out how to do more with less, which has been what they've done traditionally. I just think catching up to the more with the less is a bigger gap than it used to be because of the financial opportunities other schools have.
Maybe. I think Utah's biggest battle is going to be finding those diamonds in the rough and convincing them to stay. Have you seen have you heard the promo with Eric Weddle playing on the station with Hanson Scotty, where he's talking about, building better humans and all these things? I mean, that's going to be the message. And by the way, there can be authenticity in that there is value there where you're going to bring them under your wing and turn them into better football players and hopefully, capable adults that are willing to tackle the world, which, by the way, is supposed to be the mission of universities everywhere with all their students, not just like anywho. You can sell that and that lands with people.
It does. I would warn people against listening to that because you're not wrong. with also saying that's what every other school. Witt is still selling that at Michigan. He's also selling that with $80,000.
I got it. But, selling it and doing it are two different things. I think a lot of
Morgan's
people
got to follow through on it.
would tell you. Yeah. So I don't think Michigan has ever really valued anything like that. So you can sell it till you're blue in the face, but they're there to win at all costs. Mm-hmm. Jim Harbaugh was hiding in trees and sending a buffoon in a mustache to spy on other teams.
Alex Jensen is selling, let's make some great people.
Yeah. So you got to.
Kevin Young is too, and also says we also have $6 million for you, AJ DeBonson.
But Alex has to deliver on it,
or $4 million, or whatever.
Just like honestly, just like Rick Majerus had to deliver on it, although his messaging was a tad bit different,
a little different.
But you have to make them better players. And why did Damian Lillard not only go to Weber State but stay at Weber State?
Yeah,
because it's what was best for him, and he will tell you to this day that was a good decision on his part.
And look, Utah has won without Salesi Moa in the past.
So.
Without 5-star recruits in the past. They're going to have to keep doing it.
So people don't care about that crap anymore, but it doesn't mean that it doesn't matter.
Sure.
Next.
Number 2, did the Houston Texans end Aaron Rodgers' career?
Physically, it seemed like they did. Aaron Rodgers was on his back the entire game. They hit him every single time he dropped back. That is an incredibly great defense. I wish C.J. Stroud was a little better. Now, he's still very young, third year. They made the playoffs already, right? This is his second trip to the playoffs. Is this his first win? Had they won a game before? I suspect they were on the road, and I know this was the Texans' first ever road playoff win, so that would lead me to believe that this is probably C.J. Stroud's first win. But so he's got to go through some of that learning curve of figuring out how to do this. And now they've got to go play at the Patriots, right? And that's going to be a very difficult place to play. But that Texans defense is as good as I've seen in the NFL this year. They are swarming. It looks like Texas Tech. They're just all over you. The Texans defense, I should say.
Can I tell you why I hated watching that game? And the ending got a little bit more spicy, but
well, it was 7-6 going into the fourth quarter, right? It was an atrocious game.
Atrocious.
Yeah.
Have you ever? Well, I'm sure you did this at some point. Your kids are a little older now, but to try and help your little kids make a basket. Mm-hmm. Shooting a hoop where you put them a little closer, and then you put them a little closer. When that doesn't work, you pick them up a little bit,
put them on the shoulders,
and then when that doesn't, and then eventually you're holding them next to the rim to put the ball in there. Houston did everything they could to lose that game. I mean,
turnovers,
bad
in the red
turnovers,
zone.
like inopportune times. Like they were trying, in a sense, to lose the game, and Pittsburgh couldn't do anything.
Yeah.
Anything.
Right.
Just blow it.
Oh, Texans would give up a big pass play. You're like, oh, here comes the drive. And then it would be 3rd and 18 out of nowhere because of a false start and a sack. Yeah. They hurt themselves over and over, did the Texans, and then the Steelers just couldn't do anything about it.
It was so hard to watch. It was so frustrating to watch, like watching your little child who just can't quite get it to the rim and need to be handed an even more beneficial opportunity and still throwing it and hitting the underside. You know what I mean? It was so bad. Houston, and the Houston was playing well too, and then would just make a big mistake.
Yeah,
Pittsburgh would dodge the bullet. Like, they should have been way out of that game a long time before they were, but good things kept happening to them, and then they could not take advantage of it. Anyway, what a way for Rodgers to go out. What do you think about Tomlin?
Certainly seems like that was probably it for him. Again, what is it, 9 straight years since they've won a playoff game? They make the playoffs every year because they're the Steelers, but they have not advanced very far. And look, they need a better quarterback. They're going to need better quarterback play. A lot of it has to do with, was their last win when Ben Roethlisberger was there?
It was like 2010, I
think.
Yeah,
it's got to be right around there. So they do need better quarterback play, and they have not had it since Roethlisberger left. And that's not great analysis, but that's just the truth of what happens in football. So they've got to find their guy. And it can't be Tiny Hands Pickett.
No. You know why I don't want them to fire? I wouldn't pretend to know the ins and outs of what goes on with Pittsburgh, the Steelers, and their head coach. But Pittsburgh has always wanted to win, and he's always tried to win, no matter if he's had tiny hands or whomever. I mean, what are the other cavalcade of bozos that have gone through since
Did they have
Ben
Justin
left?
Fields last year?
Yeah.
Last year was Rusty. Yep.
Oh, man, I forgot about the Rusty.
Mason
experience.
Rudolph.
Yeah.
And he's been trying to win. And he's won more than he should have won. And they need to find a quarterback. There's no doubt about that. But I don't like just firing a good coach because your management, and the coach included, I guess, can't seem to find a quarterback. And it's not his fault that they've been just chasing it.
It's John Harbaugh. We're shaking up the status quo because we think maybe we can't figure anything else out.
John Harbaugh has the best quarterback in the league, and there's a much better argument to be made about firing John Harbaugh than there is Mike Tomlin. He's had a dump of a roster since Roethlisberger, and he keeps finding a way to sneak in, and you're going to punish him because he can't take it to the next level? Are you serious? That should have been a 4-win team, and he's making the playoffs. And then you're like, oh, he can't win in the playoffs. Well, yeah, you couldn't win in the playoffs with that team. Not a chance.
The only argument I'd have is I think this might be a Tomlin decision and not a Steelers decision. I think maybe Tomlin wants to step away and do something else.
If he wants to go take a CBS media job and make $10 million for sitting around on a Sunday once a week or whatever, he should do that.
I bet he does that for a year, and then I bet he goes back to coaching. I'd be surprised if he leaves the Steelers and takes another job right away.
I don't know.
Maybe I'm wrong.
Sometimes the media life just agrees with.
Mm-hmm. And you go and you test it and you realize, oh, man.
That's pretty good.
I'm off Monday through Wednesday. I do a little bit of research Thursday and Friday, and I'm ready for Sunday. Yeah, that's good.
I know people are hating on Tony Romo now, and for plenty good reason, I suppose. But, he still had gas in the tank when he retired. Mm-hmm. He could have come back and been a veteran quarterback for a mediocre roster.
Yeah, no question.
But, that once a week working with Jim Nantz, who does all the work, really is pretty good because he plays a lot of golf, I'm sure.
Yep.
All right. Do we have one more?
Number 3, Keyonte George had the better stats last night, and the Jazz got the win. Does that mean Keontae's better than Donovan Mitchell?
It does not, but I don't think that's a crazy conversation to have. It will depend on when the Jazz start winning, and credit Donovan. Donovan Mitchell was the leading scorer on a team that never failed to make the playoffs in Utah while he was here. That's a hard thing to do as a young player, and Donovan was a good player. I don't think we need to diminish Donovan by talking about how good of a player Keyonte has become. The question I think now for the Jazz is what do they do on these next 4 road trip games? The Jazz there's no maybe other team in the NBA that is more dangerous to lose 5 straight or win 5 straight regardless of the opponent. Because if you were to say the Jazz play Chicago, Dallas, and San Antonio to close this road trip, there's a real argument they could go 4-1 to over this 5-game road trip, including the victory last night. They also could pull the plug and lose 4 straight. And after beating Cleveland, that might be the directive. Because you don't want to win too many games. Because you don't want to be in a spot where you're trying to hold on to your draft pick late and it not really actually being in your control.
And get ready for this one when they play 2 against Dallas, okay? This is a team you're directly competing with for lottery odds. So these are just incredibly important games to lose.
Yep.
Especially 2 in a row.
Yep.
I hate it.
Especially because you already beat them. You just beat them on Thursday. What was last Thursday that the Jazz beat them? So, yeah, you can't beat them 3 times in 2 weeks and hope to stay ahead of them in the lottery. Then again, I think, did Dallas just win last night? I think Dallas won last night and picked up a victory. So if you are tracking the standings last night, it was not the worst time to win games. Sacramento also picked up the win. The Clippers won to stay ahead of the Jazz in the standings, and I think Dallas got a victory.
Great.
Anyways, that's the conversation.
Let's give away some Jazz tickets.
Let's do it.
All right.
It's Jazz Ticket Tuesday, and your chance to win tickets is right now.
Call this number now.
Call this number now.
Be caller number 12 at 801-575-ZONE. 801-575-ZONE. And you'll be on your way to Delta Center to see the Utah Jazz.
He fires the 3. He hits. Oh, don't do me like that.
This is 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Caller number 12 right now. We're hooking you up with a pair of tickets to go see the Jazz take on the Timberwolves Tuesday, January 20th. Go see Rudy at the Delta Center at 6 o'clock. Stay tuned. More next. 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone.
Whether it's the Jazz, Utes, Cougars, or Aggies, these guys have got you covered.
Time to eat, fellas.
You're locked on to Jake Scott and Ben Anderson.
1, 2, 3, move it.
On 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Jacobin, want to remind you can join Hanson Scotty coming up today, not in Salt Lake City, actually, from noon to 3 at Sound Sleep Medical, 8941 South, 700 East in Sandy. Not Salt Lake City, but Sandy.
Not too far out.
Ben, real quick here, because we are going to talk a little NFL football coming up in the very next segment with Brian Diardo, who writes for CBS Sports. I love a great petty move. You saw that Brooks Koepka is coming back to the PGA Tour from Live Golf.
I did.
Apparently, there are only like 3, maybe 4 players that the PGA Tour actually wants back. And that's Brooks Koepka, John Rahm, and Bryson DeChambeau. Also maybe Cam Smith, but certainly those ones. So they made this arbitrary rule where they'll welcome back major winners who abandon their tour cards as long as they won a major after 2022 or 2022 and after.
Oh, okay. So since Liv kind of came in and started poaching everybody, and a little beyond that.
That would Koepka would qualify. So would Rahm. So would DeChambeau. Do you remember the year that Phil Mickelson last won a major?
When was it?
2021.
Oh, okay, they've drawn the line.
2021.
Phil won a major that recently?
Yeah, remember
Wow.
he fell out of nowhere and won the PGA Championship.
Yeah, forgot now.
Even Phil noticed, apparently, sending out some crying, like laughing, crying emojis and clapping hands.
Nobody wants Phil around. It's amazing Liv even wanted him around.
Well, and he very vocally did this to hurt the PGA Tour.
Yeah.
I mean, he was doing it in his mind to reform the PGA Tour, but he did this as a vindictive move. I'm not surprised the PGA Tour would be vindictive right back.
Did we ever resolve all of Phil Mickelson's insider trading issues? I thought more of those came out recently from our friend at Pablo Torre Finds Out. I thought there was even more of those that were released. I wonder if honestly some of that is hanging over his head and no longer does the PGA want anything to do with him. I mean, clearly that's the case, but also if you're bringing back a guy who's going to be facing insider trading, allegedly.
Well, that aside, I wouldn't want somebody who's gambled $1 billion in their lifetime, probably.
Yeah, whatever it is.
Yeah. All right, stay tuned. We're talking NFL football coming up next with Brian Diardo of CBS Sports. Stay tuned, 97.5 DKSL Sports Zone.